Before the roar of engines and the rise of smoke-stained skylines, most of humanity lived close to the land. Villages were tight-knit and seasonal rhythms governed daily life. Farming was hard, but the pace was slow and the connection to the earth was strong. Then in the mid-18th century, something began to stir first in the English countryside. Then across continents, a profound transformation was underway. This was the Industrial Revolution, a seismic shift in how people worked, lived, and thought. But it wasn't just about machines. It was about the people, the places, and the process. The cradle of industrialization was Britain, specifically the textile-producing regions of Lancashire, Yorkshire, and the Midlands. These areas were already hubs of wool and cotton weaving, and they possessed a perfect storm of resources. Coal beneath the ground, rivers for power and transport, and access to colonial raw materials like cotton from India and the American South. In places like Manchester, small workshops evolved into vast factories. This was no overnight transformation. For decades, new machines were introduced cautiously, sometimes resisted by traditional weavers. But as efficiency and profit soared, resistance gave way to rapid industrial expansion. Meanwhile, rural families were drawn into a new way of life. Many left their ancestral lands for cities they'd never seen, searching for work in unfamiliar places. Their destinations were the new industrial towns, raw, bustling, and utterly alien to agrarian life. Life in these early industrial centers was harsh, precarious, and often dehumanizing. In Manchester, dubbed Cottonopolis, families crammed into narrow back-to-back houses built within shouting distance of towering factory walls. Sanitation was primitive, water was often polluted, and epidemics like cholera and typhoid swept through densely packed streets. Inside the factories, conditions were grueling. The hum of machines never stopped spinning. Jennies, power looms, and steam engines dictated the tempo of life. Workers, including children as young as 6, labored for 12 to 16 hours a day, often without breaks, inhaling cotton dust and enduring constant noise. Wages were low, and job security was non-existent. Many lived one accident away from destitution. But despite this, people endured. These cities, ravaged and dangerous as they were, also offered opportunities that the countryside could not: steady income, urban networks, and eventually, social mobility. The driving force of the Industrial Revolution was innovation. James Watt's steam engine, perfected in the 1770s, didn't just pump water from mines, it powered factories, trains, and entire cities. It was the pulse of progress. The textile industry saw exponential gains. Richard Arkwright's water frame, Samuel Crompton's spinning mule, and Edmund Cartwright's power loom turned Britain into the global epicenter of cloth production. The iron industry followed, with advances like the puddling furnace and eventually Bessemer's steel converter, allowing for larger bridges, stronger railways, and towering buildings. The railway boom of the early 19th century was transformative. Towns like Birmingham, Sheffield, and Glasgow grew into industrial powerhouses, connected by a web of iron rails. Suddenly, people and goods could move faster than ever before, collapsing distances and feeding a new kind of national and global economy. But innovation came at a human cost. The Industrial Revolution created wealth, but also deepened inequality. A new industrial bourgeoisie emerged, factory owners and bankers, while millions toiled in poverty. Yet the very pressure of these conditions sparked reform. Trade unions, public health acts, and compulsory education slowly took shape. Voices like Robert Owen, a factory owner turned social reformer, and writers like Elizabeth Gaskell shone a light on the inhumanity of unchecked industrial capital. By the late 19th century, cities had begun to modernize. Sewers were built, child labor laws were enacted, and urban planning took root. The Industrial Revolution had reshaped the world, not just economically, but socially and culturally. The countryside was no more. The cities were where the jobs were, where the pace was relentless, where fortunes were made and broken, and where the relentless churn of progress ground on. If you liked this video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe, so that you don't miss out on any future content. And if you want to watch more content like this, you can do so here. Thanks for watching.